Think you need a fortune to live in the US? Think again. Today, we're diving into the cheapest cities to live in 2026. Places so affordable, even your budget-conscious aunt would be impressed. Buckle up, because the truth is brutal and the sarcasm is free. All right, welcome to Memphis, Tennessee, the city that gives you soul, barbecue, and affordable living all in one confusing, chaotic, slightly magical package. If you've ever dreamed of living somewhere that's cheap, culturally rich, and maybe just a little unpredictable, congratulations, you've found it. Let's start with the basics. Housing. Memphis is a dream for anyone who's tired of emptying their bank account just to have a roof over their head. The median home price is around $200,000, which in most parts of the US barely gets you a closet. Rent? You can snag a decent two-bedroom apartment for about $950 a month. That's right, less than a mortgage payment in Denver. More money for tacos, craft beer, or whatever guilty pleasures you've been hiding from your budget. And if you're feeling ambitious, you can even get a charming historic house for that price, which gives you instant "I'm sophisticated" street cred. Now, let's get real about jobs and the economy. Memphis isn't Silicon Valley. If you're expecting tech startups popping out of every corner, lower your expectations. Way lower. The city thrives on logistics, transportation, and healthcare, with FedEx running the show. Average salaries hover around $54,000 a year, which is fine. Not glamorous, but it stretches much farther than in pricier cities. And let's be honest, your money actually goes somewhere here, instead of vanishing into rent and overpriced coffee. Speaking of money, let's talk cost of living. Memphis is consistently one of the most affordable cities in the country. Groceries? Cheap. Gas? Cheap. Nightlife? Surprisingly decent. Yes, there are dives with character, and dives with the occasional jazz show. But the point is, you can live here without your bank account screaming for mercy. Of course, it's not all sunshine and barbecue sauce. Crime rates in Memphis are higher than the national average, so picking a neighborhood is crucial unless you enjoy random plot twists in your daily life. And the weather? Hot, sticky summers, mildish winters, and humidity that makes you question every life choice. But if you can handle sweating through your business casual and surviving the occasional thunderstorm, you'll do fine. Culture though? Oh boy, culture. Memphis is legendary for music. Elvis Presley? Born and buried here. Beale Street? Iconic. Blues, soul, rock and roll, you name it, Memphis has it. Living here isn't just about affordability. It's about being in a city that oozes history, grit, and a little chaos. You're surrounded by museums, music venues, and barbecue joints that will ruin all other food for you. Food is basically a way of life. Barbecue isn't just a meal, it's a religion. Ribs, pulled pork, dry rubs, wet sauces, Memphis will turn your taste buds into a fan club that never sleeps. And while it might not have the Michelin stars of New York, what it lacks in hot cuisine, it makes up for in soul. Literally, soul food. Neighborhoods range from historic charm to what did I just walk into, but that's part of Memphis's appeal. You can live near the Mississippi River and enjoy scenic views, or dive into quirky neighborhoods filled with street art, music, and local coffee shops. And yes, some areas are a little rough around the edges, but that just adds character. The bottom line, Memphis gives you affordability without completely sacrificing character. You can own a house, eat like royalty, enjoy music and culture, and still not have to take out a second mortgage just to survive. It's gritty, soulful, and unapologetically itself. If you're looking for a city that's cheap, vibrant, and just a little unpredictable, Memphis is calling your name. So pack your barbecue-loving, music-obsessed self, grab a fan for the summer heat, and enjoy a city that somehow manages to be both chaotic and affordable. Memphis isn't perfect, but your wallet will love it, and sometimes that's exactly what matters. All right, buckle up because we're starting our journey in Wichita, Kansas, a place that somehow manages to be both surprisingly affordable and, well, uniquely Wichita. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, most people haven't, and that's probably why living here is cheaper than a cup of Starbucks in Manhattan. First, let's talk housing. If you've ever dreamed of owning a house without selling a kidney, Wichita is your dream come true. The median home price hovers around $190,000, which is basically pocket change compared to the national median of over $400,000. And yes, that $190,000 gets you a house that actually looks like a house, not a shoebox squeezed between two others. Renting? You're looking at roughly $900 a month for a decent two-bedroom apartment. That's right, you can live here and still have money left over for tacos or, that emergency Netflix subscription. Now, before you start packing your bags, let's address the elephant in the room: jobs and economy. Wichita is nicknamed the air capital of the world because Boeing and a few other aviation companies dominate the job market. So if you're a pilot, engineer, or just someone with a weird obsession for planes, congratulations, you're in luck. For everyone else, the job market can be a bit challenging. Average salaries hover around $55,000 a year, which is solid when your rent is $900, but not exactly exciting if you're used to the Bay Area or New York. But hey, at least your paycheck goes further here. Next, let's talk cost of living. Wichita is consistently in the bottom 10 of US cities for cost of living, which basically means your money stretches further than gum on a hot sidewalk. Groceries? Affordable. Gas? Affordable. Entertainment? Well, there's something called a Wichita Symphony Orchestra, if that counts. But seriously, even if the nightlife is a little sleepy, your wallet will thank you. But let's not sugarcoat it. Wichita is not perfect. Crime rates are higher than the national average in certain neighborhoods, so choosing where to live isn't just about affordability, it's about survival instincts. And the weather, oh, the weather. Summers are hot enough to fry an egg on your car hood, winters can be brutally cold, and tornado season, well, let's just say you'll develop a healthy respect for storm shelters. Now, culture. Wichita has this weird blend of small-town charm and Midwestern grit. You've got Old Cowtown Museum, if you're into reenacting the 1800s, and the Sedgwick County Zoo, which is surprisingly good for a city this size. But honestly, the biggest attraction might be how ordinary it all feels, which is perfect if your goal is escaping the chaos of the coasts. You want quiet streets, affordable grocery stores, and neighbors who actually know your name? Wichita's got you covered. Food? Wichita is cheap, but surprisingly decent. BBQ is king here, and there are more diners per capita than Starbucks, which honestly might be a blessing. And if you like weird local quirks, Wichita has a strange obsession with water towers. Don't ask me why, but they're everywhere. Seriously, you can track your city tour by spotting water towers like it's some sort of bizarre scavenger hunt. In short, Wichita is a city that asks for very little. It doesn't promise glamour, it doesn't promise excitement, and it doesn't promise luxury. What it does promise is affordability, practicality, and the chance to actually afford your own space without going into debt. It's the kind of place where your money doesn't disappear the second you breathe, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. So if your dream is a cheap, low-stress life with the occasional tornado for spice, Wichita, Kansas might just be your golden ticket. It's unassuming, underappreciated, and brutally affordable, a place where your bank account can finally breathe. Just don't expect it to make your Instagram followers jealous. All right, folks, welcome to Pueblo, Colorado, the city that's kind of like Colorado's forgotten middle child. Not Denver, not Colorado Springs, but Pueblo. Affordable, quirky, and a little rough around the edges. If you're tired of paying $2,000 a month for a tiny studio in Denver just to say you live in Colorado, Pueblo is here to whisper sweet nothings to your bank account. Let's start with the housing situation. Here's the good news. Pueblo is cheap, like really cheap. The median home price is around $280,000. And yes, that actually gets you a real house with real space. Yards, garages, maybe even a neighbor who waves at you without ulterior motives. Renting? You're looking at roughly $950 to $1,100 a month for a two-bedroom apartment. That's a fraction of what you'd pay in Denver or Boulder, which basically means your wallet might start smiling again. And if you're dreaming of a little fixer-upper for cheap, Pueblo's market is full of them. Warning, some houses are charming in the same way a haunted house is charming. But hey, cheap real estate has its quirks. Economy and jobs? Well, here's where the sarcasm kicks in. Pueblo is not a booming metropolis, and it's not trying to be. The economy leans on manufacturing, healthcare, and a few government jobs, and the average salary hovers around $52,000 a year. That's not a fortune, but with housing this cheap, it actually goes a long way. So yes, you might not become a tech millionaire here, but you can afford to eat, pay rent, and maybe even splurge on craft beer occasionally. Cost of living overall, Pueblo consistently ranks as one of the most affordable cities in Colorado. Groceries, gas, utilities, your budget actually survives here. Unlike Denver, where you check your bank account and immediately regret every life choice, Pueblo lets you breathe. You can buy groceries, pay rent, and still have enough left over to occasionally splurge on Taco Tuesday without crying. Now let's talk culture and lifestyle, because yes, there is culture here, even if it's not hipster coffee shops on every corner. Pueblo is home to a surprisingly rich history, especially around steel manufacturing, which earned it the nickname Steel City. There's a strong Hispanic influence here, giving the city festivals, food, and traditions that feel authentic and fun. Think Chile and Frijoles Festival, basically a celebration of everything delicious and slightly spicy. And yes, you can enjoy this cultural richness without paying $12 for a taco, which is a plus. Entertainment and recreation, Pueblo has skiing nearby, hiking trails, and Lake Pueblo State Park, which gives you outdoor adventure without a $300 lift ticket. Sure, it's not Aspen, but your bank account will thank you when you trade ski lift lines for actual lakefront relaxation. And if you like quirky local charm, Pueblo has murals, historic districts, and surprisingly photogenic spots for your Instagram, even if nobody outside Colorado has heard of them. The weather? It's a mixed bag. Summers get hot, winters can be cold, and yes, it's Colorado, so sun, wind, and occasional snowstorms keep life interesting. But it's nothing you can't handle, especially if cheap housing is your top priority. Crime rates in Pueblo are a bit higher than the national average, so as always, pick your neighborhood wisely. But if you're smart about it, you'll find spots that are safe, friendly, and affordable. And honestly, the trade-off between low cost of living and a few sketchy blocks is worth it. Just maybe don't leave your bike unlocked. In short, Pueblo, Colorado is the anti-Denver. It's affordable, practical, and full of unexpected charm. You won't find Michelin star restaurants or endless nightlife, but what you will find is a city that lets your money stretch, gives you some culture, and doesn't demand a second mortgage just to live like a human being. So if your goal is a cheap, manageable Colorado life with a little history, a little culture, and a lot of breathing room in your budget, Pueblo is calling your name. It's humble, underrated, and sometimes weird, but in the best possible way. All right, buckle up, because next we're heading to Fort Wayne, Indiana, a city that's quietly affordable, surprisingly charming, and utterly Midwestern in every sense of the word. If you're tired of paying West Coast or East Coast prices just to exist, Fort Wayne is basically a gentle slap in the face from reality. It says, hey, you can actually live somewhere without selling a kidney. Let's start with housing, because let's be honest, that's why we're here. The median home price in Fort Wayne is roughly $210,000. Yes, that's right, just over $200,000 for a house that actually feels like a house. You might even get a yard big enough for your dog, your kids, or whatever suburban dream you've been hoarding in Pinterest boards. Renting? A 2-bedroom apartment will cost you about $900 to $1,000 a month, which is basically pocket change compared to the national average. And the best part? You can actually find neighborhoods that are safe and quiet without paying for a gated community or pretending you like HOA meetings. Now let's talk jobs and the economy. Fort Wayne isn't a tech hub, it's not buzzing with venture capital, and you won't see Instagram influencers doing avocado toast here, thankfully. The economy is built on manufacturing, healthcare, education, and a touch of logistics, with companies like Steel Dynamics and Parkview Health dominating the scene. The average salary hovers around $55,000 a year, which is decent considering how far your dollar goes. Translation, you can actually live comfortably without having to moonlight as a freelance TikTok guru. Speaking of money, the cost of living in Fort Wayne is refreshingly low. Everything from groceries to gas is cheaper than in most major US cities. Even entertainment is affordable, which is surprising because this is a city that actually tries to keep you engaged. There's the Fort Wayne Museum of Art, Science Central, and a surprisingly vibrant local music scene. Sure, it's not New York or LA, but it's enough to make your weekends feel like more than just scrolling on your phone. Now, let's get real. Crime and weather. Like many cities, Fort Wayne has some rough neighborhoods, so you'll need to pick your street wisely unless you enjoy adrenaline-packed walks home at night. Weather is classic Midwest. Hot, humid summers, cold winters, and enough snow to make you question why you didn't just move to Florida. Tornado season occasionally makes a cameo too, because apparently Mother Nature likes to keep life interesting. But honestly, these are minor inconveniences compared to the affordability and comfort you get living here. Culture-wise, Fort Wayne is like a hidden gem. The city leans heavily into family-friendly activities, local sports, and community festivals. The Three Rivers Festival? Iconic. Local breweries? Surprisingly solid. And the city has this low-key charm where people actually wave when they drive by. Shockingly polite for the 21st century. Pueblo might have festivals, Memphis has music, but Fort Wayne has friendly, quiet livability, which, let's face it, is underrated in this overpriced world. Food is Midwestern comfort at its finest. You've got diners, local bakeries, and surprisingly good ethnic foods sprinkled around the city. And yes, deep-fried everything exists here. It's Indiana after all. But if you don't overdo it, your wallet will forgive you. You can eat like a human being without taking out a second mortgage. In short, Fort Wayne is the definition of practical affordability. It won't blow your mind with glamour or nightlife, but it's consistent, reliable, and lets your money go further than most cities in the country. You can own a home, live comfortably, explore a modest but decent cultural scene, and maybe even save a little for the future, without the existential dread that comes from paying 3 times as much for a shoebox apartment elsewhere. So, if your goal is cheap living without giving up basic comfort, Fort Wayne, Indiana should absolutely be on your radar. It's safe-ish, practical, quiet, affordable, and most importantly, it doesn't make you feel guilty for enjoying the simple things in life. It's not flashy, it's not perfect, but your wallet will love it. And sometimes, that's exactly what matters. So there you have it, 4 of the cheapest cities to live in 2026. Wichita, Memphis, Pueblo, and Fort Wayne. Affordable housing, manageable costs, and just enough quirks to keep your life interesting without bankrupting you. Sure, they might not have the glitz and glam of New York or LA, but guess what? Your bank account will thank you, your stress levels will drop, and you might even enjoy life a little more. If you're looking to stretch your dollar and still have a place to call home, these cities are worth checking out. And remember, cheap doesn't have to mean boring. It just means smart, and maybe a little sarcastic like me. So tell me, which city would you survive in without going broke? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned, because we're just getting started exposing the weird, wonderful, and sometimes terrifying reality of living in the US. See you next time.